Dearest Uncle Fred, today, Sunday, I am speechless. I was so incredibly touched by your birthday gift, Uncle Fred. I was born March 20th, 2004, and now I am 11 years old. It meant so much to me that you got me my dream present, my favorite, a violin. I would think of you whenever I use it. I only hope that I can think of something just as great to give you on your special day. Again, I really appreciate that generous gift for my birthday. And most of all, one of the nicest things about my birthday this year is I cannot thank you enough for letting us stay here with a wonderful job for my mom and me. And it's a fabulous time on my big day. It is definitely something I'll never forget. Thank you, thank you. Me and my mom appreciate everything you did for us. It's a really big help. Here's Uncle Fred. Shown here in this picture is during his tennis competition. And it's also his birthday too. See? Yeah. And he's the best player I know, and he gave me lots of cool stuff. Anything about tennis. And I appreciate all of it. Tennis. And also he gave me a tennis racket. And it's a collector's item from Jimmy Connors, the all-time world famous tennis player. Old times. His racket is very small too. I don't know why, but it's his style, so don't blame him. And thank you, Uncle Fred. You're so kind. I treasure whatever you gave it to me. And also, I am playing tennis too. Aside from swimming, it's also one of my favorite sports. And now I'm gonna show you what Uncle Fred gave me actually for my birthday. And I think you can see something sticking out of the background. Something red, something fluffy, but that's just a ribbon. But there's something on it. Something black, something metal, something inside that's very musical. You know what it is? It's a case. I'm just kidding. It's a case, but with a violin inside. See? Yes. I don't know why this is heavy. It's so long and heavy. There we go. See? So big. Really, this is over top. I don't know, but I'm just. Yeah. Yay, my little fluffy thing. It's a ribbon. And now I'm actually here going to explain all the parts about the violin. And of course, the bow. Never forget about the bow. Because the bow is actually part of the violin. Well, it's not part, but it's a musical piece, part of the violin. Well, there's two parts of the two parts about this. Here, you understand. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Wait, there. It's so big. Well, the case is big, but the violin is 3/4, so it's not that big. But it's just the case that's so heavy. And yeah, there's the bow right here. And here's the violin. It's pretty actually shiny. Pretty surprised. And also, here's the shoulder pad. Of course you don't know what it is. I'll tell you later because it's part of the whole thing. And here, the last compartment here is, ooh, did I drop it? The rosin. Now I'm going to show you all the parts later, but first I'm going to show you the parts of the violin, but I'll show you everything else that goes with the violin later. So first the violin, second the bow, then I'll show you these two, or if there's anything else. So yeah. Okay, here's the violin. Of course, you can tell it's a musical instrument because it is. Because you can play music out of this by plucking or playing with the bow. But my bow is in the case. So I'll show you about the bow later. So the parts of the violin, I'm going to go basically from the top to the bottom. Okay, so here's how it goes. Here is the scroll, which is the top part. The highest points of the violin scroll. And here are the pegs that you use to, you know, like, let's say if your strings are out of tune and you gotta like tighten them up so they don't get loose, so when you play it's not like, you know, so it'd be nice. So, you know, just tuning. So this is the E string peg. Here's the A string peg. Here is the G string peg. Here's the D string peg. There. So now I'm going to go to this long black piece. This is the fingerboard where you put your fingers on, you know, to play notes, like, you know. And also, forgot to mention that, yeah, of course, these are strings, you know, but these are the string names. Here, this thinnest one right here is the E string, like that. And then A, and then D, and then G, which is the lowest string of all. And the thickest. So you can obviously tell that's the G string without even looking at it. Just hearing it. So, yeah. And of course, this, you know, here's the face of the violin right here, just the body, and the curves right here are the shoulders. And I forgot to mention the neck. If you don't have a neck, you're short. That's short body. Because most of the violin parts mostly just relate to body parts, like a human being, you know. And yeah, so here's the bridge, like a bridge to walk, see? And actually holds the strings in place, so you don't, so, because if without the bridge, it'll be like the strings would just like go down, and then you won't really have any sound, basically. So that's pretty much the whole point of the bridge. But just to let you know, never play with the bridge, this bridge, because if you like take it out, it's actually not glued. It's actually just there. It's nothing is keeping it still, but the only thing that's keeping it still are the strings. So if your strings are loose or thing or whatever, probably, and the bridge will come off. So yeah, so don't do that at home, kids. And here are the fine tuners for each string. So if you're having trouble with the pegs, here are just to enhance the sound. But if you have a full size violin, you only have one fine tuner, not for all 4 strings, because you only tune basically just the E string only with the fine tuner, and then the rest of the strings you actually have to tune with the pegs. So yeah, and this piece here is the tail, right there. And then here's the shoulder, no, the chin rest, yeah. Chin rest, you rest your chin. So of course you can play, because without it, I bet it would hurt. And technical issues with your body, your lower part of your face will hurt if you don't have a chin rest. And also the button. Yeah, that nice little button is at the back. There we go. So these, and here are the F holes. I forgot to mention about this. The F holes is where the sound comes from. So, cause without them, I don't think you would get a lot of sound. You'd be like beep like that, but with it, it would be like bang, like vibrate, like there's like an echo to it. It's like guitar, you know. Because that little circle, depends. But you know that little hole in the guitar? Yeah, that's where the sound comes from. Because it vibrates. Waves, yeah. So that's why there are F holes. And of course, there's something inside it, which is just accompanying the date used. And, when it's made, company, where it's made, and anything about this. So, yeah, those are pretty much the only parts I know about this violin. Pretty much all the parts about the violin. So, yeah. Well, the violin, but not the bow. Because I haven't talked about the bow, but now I'm gonna talk about the bow. So, yeah. We're gonna go on to the bow now. Careful. Don't scratch it. Okay, so here's the bow. The bow to play your instrument, because without the bow, I think you would just pluck, and plucking you're just gonna have sharp edges. But with the bow, it sounds nicer, but depends how you play with the bow. So here's the different parts about the bow, as far as I know, but I pretty much know everything about the bow actually, because there's actually less parts to talk about this. So we're gonna go from the bottom to the top now. Here you see this little metal piece is the screw. It's to tighten and loosen your bow. So if you loosen your bow, it means that you're gonna put away your bow in your case. And when you tighten your bow is when you play. So yeah, see, it looks tighter now. But since I'm not gonna play, I'm gonna loosen it because I want to. And here is the frog. There, the frog. Yeah, it doesn't look like a frog at all, right? I'm not really sure what's the meaning of frog. All I know is that this whole black piece here is the frog. I don't know any roots about the frog. Maybe it's just called the frog because they have no other names to think about this. And this little white dot there is called the eye. This is called the eye, the white dot. And I think it's just for you. Oh, it's actually really nothing to do with the eye. It just looks cooler. Yeah. And yeah, so now I'm gonna move on upwards. This long brown thing is the stick. And of course the stick holds your bow, because if you don't have a stick and if you only have rosin, it's just gonna fly everywhere. So you need the stick to hold the bow, see? Now right now it looks curved because of course I loosened it. So when it's tighter, it goes straighter, but don't make it too tight because your bow might snap, so be careful about that too. So don't tighten it too much. Okay, just like, because you don't want to know what will happen. And of course, this whitish, yellowish part, I believe this here is actually horsehair, and it's hair for you to play, because without it, because without the hair, and if you only have the stick, you won't get any sound at all, unless if you just pluck instead. So yeah, the hair is just for playing. Of course, everybody knows how to use the hair. Oh, I also forgot to mention how to bow hold, but actually I'll show that later, until I'm done with all the parts which I'm about to. So yeah, this is horsehair right here, but never touch it because your hands will get all greasy and you don't want that to happen. And you know how you put on this greasy stuff? You get it from rosin, which is right here. I'll talk about this later. So, here's the last part, the tip, right here. Yeah, it's called the tip because it looks like a point. You know, points are like tips. Tips are like points. You name it, you call it. That's okay. But yeah, so here's all the, and here is the part where you rest your pointer finger on. And also, about speaking of pointer fingers, this is how, or about this part, is how you bow hold. So yeah, you put the thumb right here, somewhere in between, like that. Yeah, there. And then you put your finger, your pointer finger here. Then you put your middle finger and your ring finger, like at the bottom, somewhere, like in this section. And then you put your pinky right on the screw. There. The screw. Well, it's like, well, this is how I bow hold. See there. Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. So yeah, this is how you actually bow hold. But if you're like not like good at bow holding on like the real bow, you can actually try it on a pencil, and I think pencil is much easier. But yeah, this is how I bow hold, like that. So here are the parts. Here are all the parts about the bow. The bow. Don't think of like a bow, like an archer bow. Think of like a musical bow. So yeah. Now we're gonna go move on to the rosin. I have less to explain because it's very small. Of course it comes in the case, and then, or if it doesn't, it comes in a circle. But all rosins have different sides, shapes. Actually, I think there are only a couple. Rectangle, square, circle, I don't know. But it really depends. So yeah, you know, the cover, and then, yeah, the base. And then here's the real rosin there. It's pretty shiny because it's new. Because actually, my school rosin was very dirty. But it's okay though. So of course, this black part. Oh no, I forgot. How do you call this? It's like, it's where you put the greasy stuff on the bow so it can sound better, because without it you'll just have like, but it sounds a lot better if you have the rosin on. So yeah. And then of course the wooden part is to hold the black part, the grease, the solid grease. There. Put it there. There we go. Here's the rosin. Then the last piece, the last part I had to show you is the shoulder rest. Shoulder rest, yeah. Of course, the shoulder rest, you can tell, is to put on your shoulder. Well, actually, on your violin, not on your shoulder, on your violin. So it like makes your shoulder comfortable when you play. But it doesn't really matter if you have a shoulder rest or without, because I mean you can play without, but it just feels a little uncomfortable. But with it, as you can see, it is actually more comfortable for me, but for some people it isn't. So this is how I put it on, or this is how you put it on. There. So yeah, I haven't actually I haven't tried a shoulder rest for like a year now, because I lost my other one. But it's okay, now I got one because Fred gave it to me. Uncle Fred. So yeah. And then you just put it on your shoulder however you hold the violin. But here's a tip, never hold your violin like this. Or like this unless you're a lefty. Or especially like this. Because I've seen a lot of people play like this. They're like, so it just looks, it looks unprofessional, but you just want to have good posture. Like you gotta be like, you know. So yeah, you put your shoulder. And yeah, it just feels more comfortable actually with when you play with it. But it hurts for me more without it. So that's it about the violin. And yeah. And the bow and the rosin and the shoulder rest. And also, since I got a new one, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to my other one, which is my school one, because I got this from the school. And I'll show you how it looks like. It's the same. It's the same size as the new one that Fred bought me. Uncle Fred actually bought me. And yeah, so it doesn't come with the shoulder rest. It actually comes with a blue sponge, but yeah. I mean, sponges and shoulder rests are the same thing. They're just a different style. So here's my bow. It actually has a black stick. And actually, I didn't get a blue one. I got a white one. I got this teeny weeny shoulder rest. Yeah. And then, of course, to hold it, you gotta have this rubber band. It's actually kind of scratched up. And then, of course, there's the ID number, because this is a school violin. And yeah, there's a bunch of dust in it, but it's okay. There's a lot of scratches. But it doesn't affect the violin. You still play good. You know, everything's the same about this, except the shoulder rest and the rubber band and the scratches. And my rosin. This is actually how my rosin looks like now, because I've been using it a lot, because it's always better if you have a good sound. And yeah. Because good sound makes the audience more happy, because they like the music. So, and of course, here's the case. See, it looks like a guitar case. Not really. And yeah, there's that company logo. Yeah, that's it. Oh, we gotta make sure everything's in place. Yeah, that's it, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this video all about the parts, the violin and the bow and the rosin and the shoulder rest. So goodbye, and thank you so much, Uncle Fred, about this wonderful gift you gave me. So goodbye and have a nice life.